for more Zzzs for Snooze City. There it was, that word again. I'm going to call you the boring, because that's what you are. A Donald Trump impersonator blustered to New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio during a comedy sketch at a charity fundraiser in the spring. We've been here for 2 minutes, and you've already put everyone to sleep. It's like talking to a 7-foot-tall Ambien. Boring is a word that has popped up in New York's 109th mayor's tenure seemingly as often as squeegee did during the years when Rudolph W. Giuliani was mayor. Mr. de Blasio, a former Brooklyn city councilman, had barely stepped onto the big stage in 2013 when his daughter Chiara, then a teenager, appeared to brand him by trying to unbrand him, assuring voters that her father was not some boring white guy. The National Review labeled him the boring babysitter for cracking down on topless Desnudas in Times Square. It's gotten to the point that the mayor has decided to reclaim the label. Merit-based bureaucratic decision-making is a little boring for the nightly news, he wrote, in pointedly boring fashion, on Medium in September, attempting to defuse pay-for-play allegations concerning big donors. A year before, his summary of his proposed city budget was, "Boring is good sometimes." There is a valid argument for the goodness of being boring, particularly when it comes to politicians. Mussolini, not boring. But what about the spin-off effect? Has our boring mayor made us more boring along the way? Or, even, is he our creation? What if every era in New York gets the mayor it deserves? Even New Yorkers who don't care much about city politics, and only about 435,000 Democrats voted in this year's primary, tend to accede to the notion that every New York mayor puts his stamp on an era, wittingly or not. Say the words Coke years, and a flood of images pours forth: bankers in yellow ties, break dancers, gay bathhouses with caution tape across the doors. Ditto with Dinkins years, the gorgeous mosaic, tennis rackets, Crown Heights riots, Giuliani years, squeegee men, Derek Jeter, Twin Towers, or Bloomberg years, bike lanes, luxury condos, waterfront parks. Love them or hate them, each of them had their drama. The de Blasio years? The mind goes blank. It's hard to say, 4 years in, what represents this era. Gourmet food trucks, maybe? Food halls. As the mayors got taller, the mayoralty got smaller. The public scourges Minnie Mouse and Elmo are confined to mascot ghettos in Times Square, known as designated activity zones. There was, if memory serves, a blizzard that everyone freaked out about, although it's hard to remember when or why. It's hard enough to remember just how to spell the mayor's name. It's not de Blasio, but you can be forgiven if you have to Google it. Mayor de Blasio's New York is neither a city on the brink, despite this past week's deadly terror attack. Crime is down, and test scores are up, but few seem to be paying close enough attention to know that. At last, here's an image that floods to mind: Macron, Macron. To be fair, no one was shrugging at Terminal 5, the music club on West 56th Street, this past Monday, as the mayor took the stage with his wife, Chirlane McRae, and Senator Bernie Sanders, in what passes for a climactic campaign appearance in a mayoral battle that is shaping up to be as lopsided as something incredibly lopsided. Polls show the mayor, seeking a second term, ahead of his Republican challenger 61% to 17%. Extra credit if you can name Mr. de Blasio's Republican challenger, double extra credit if you can spell it. It's Nicole Malliotakis. Despite the presence of Mr. Sanders, the hall was maybe half full. Efforts to get 4 more years chant faded quickly as the mayor, looking like a retired Knicks power forward, he is 6'5", rose to tower over the podium in a gray suit and yellow power tie. "I want to start with a tale of audacity," Mr. de Blasio said, sounding more amiable than audacious, before ticking off his administration's accomplishments, which included universal pre-K, 2 rent freezes and free legal counsel for people facing eviction. The mayor spoke glowingly of Mr. Sanders as the shining beacon of his own progressive politics. Mr. de Blasio backed Hillary Clinton in 2016. Bernie Sanders defines the idea of audacity, he said, showing America's left that we had a power that we didn't even know we had. A crowd of union members in red jackets sipped beer from plastic cups in the back. That seemed fitting. The affable, jockey Mr. de Blasio, more than any mayor in memory, certainly fits the time-honored political test of who would you want to have a beer with. If you tried to play quarters with Mr. Giuliani, he'd probably arrest you for